When I first married my husband, I believed we were building something unbreakable. We laughed often, shared dreams, and couldn't keep our hands off each other. But somewhere along the years that energy faded. Slowly, he became more distant. At first, I thought it was work stress or temporary exhaustion, but it became a pattern. He spent his evenings glued to his phone or television, barely acknowledging me when I tried to start a conversation. I'd ask about his day, and he'd give short, distracted answers before retreating into silence. The affection dwindled until it felt non-existent. Nights once filled with warmth became cold and quiet. I found myself reaching for him in bed, only to feel him shift away, muttering that he was tired. I tried to rekindle the spark, suggesting dates, surprising him with little things, even initiating intimacy. But my efforts were brushed aside as though I was asking too much. I felt invisible in my own marriage. The person who was supposed to love me most had become a roommate, someone physically present but emotionally unreachable. That loneliness sank deep into me. I began to wonder if this emptiness was all I had left to expect from our marriage. He came into my life at a time when I was craving even the smallest sign of connection. It started casually, nothing more than polite exchanges that turned into real conversations. He listened in a way my husband no longer did. When I spoke, he paid attention, remembered details, and made me feel like my words mattered. That simple act of being heard was something I hadn't felt in years, and it caught me off guard how much I needed it. We began talking more often, sometimes about serious things, other times about small, ordinary topics that somehow still felt important. With him, there was no sense of indifference. Every word felt acknowledged, every laugh felt genuine. I found myself looking forward to these moments more than I wanted to admit. It wasn't about anything romantic at first, it was about being seen again, about feeling like a person instead of a shadow in my own home. The more time we spent talking, the more the bond deepened. I noticed the way my mood shifted after our conversations, how much lighter I felt compared to the heaviness I carried in my marriage. Without even realizing it, I began leaning on him for the comfort I could no longer find with my husband. It was subtle at first, the shift from companionship to something more. A touch that lingered longer than it should have, a glance that carried more weight than words. I felt the line between friendship and something deeper blur. But instead of pulling away, I let myself drift closer. For so long I had been starved of affection that even the smallest gesture felt overwhelming. When his hand finally found mine, I didn't resist. It felt natural, almost inevitable, as if we had been moving toward that moment from the start. The guilt came almost instantly, but so did a surge of emotions I hadn't felt in years. I felt wanted, alive, and most importantly, seen. We began meeting more often, conversations giving way to touches, and touches turning into moments I knew I couldn't take back. The first time we kissed, my heart pounded with a mix of excitement and fear. It was wrong, I knew that. Yet it felt like the most honest thing I'd done in years. That kiss opened a door I couldn't close. Soon, secrecy became part of our connection. I told myself it was just what I needed to feel human again. But deep down, I knew everything had changed forever. The weight of what I had done followed me everywhere. At home, I caught myself acting differently, trying harder to appear normal, but my husband noticed something was off. He asked if I was okay, if I was distracted, and I stumbled through excuses. His sudden attention felt almost ironic. When I had begged for it, he gave me nothing. Yet now when it was too late, he finally began to sense the distance. The guilt gnawed at me in quiet moments. I would replay the choices in my head, wondering when exactly I crossed the point of no return. Part of me wanted to confess, to lay everything bare, but another part clung to the secret because admitting the truth would shatter the life we had built. My marriage was already broken, but this betrayal threatened to end it completely. I found myself torn between two worlds. One where I remained the loyal wife, enduring neglect and silence, and another where I chased the feeling of being alive, even if it came with lies. The comfort I sought had become complicated, and I couldn't decide if it was worth the damage it had caused. I was left with questions I couldn't answer, and no clear path forward.